It's a very beautiful Friday and the first Friday in the month of April. And once again, we've already ushered in with Agafiire week show that is actually is officiated or altered every single Friday from the hours of 5 to the hours of 6. And right here, I'm not alone onto the set as usual. We actually come through with a number of scrutinizers in the house. We talk on a various things. So I employ you just to keep set onto the Elkem TV and see actually what is happening in the country, what is happening abroad, everywhere. We give you all the updates, local and international news all over the place. Meanwhile, thanks for joining the show. And I can't actually forget to remind you that just get into YouTube, type the word Elkem TV, subscribe, and put on the bell. Don't forget to actually write your comment about this very show. Just allow me in a minute taking into a short break, and when we do return, I'll be actually giving an opportunity to my guest in the house to also have a word for the viewers or salutation. Then we'll proceed with the show as well. Keep locked.
Mchara, why education center olirabye?
Madina Education Center isomero muno. Mugenya karoraho kale likusikiriza muno. Owenkwonki onu no hagenda kutandikira kusoma.
Ajati omwana akyayonka.
Arayonka nasoma kani nkugenda nokuzala y'abandi basatu nabo basomera hano Madina Education Center.
Abafe. Madina Education Center ngotuseyo olabira ddala Madina eri eyo Middle East naye esomero liri wano Nyakibezi Masindi Road.
Madina Education Center isomero ndigondeze lyabojjo n'abaisiki na boarding primary school baina nursery section hamuna daycare section batirexika alabana barahumuraga harume byokusanisa nka toys enungi muno
ate primary section nayo ya mulembe nnyo abasomesa batendeke bulungi classes zesize nyini metron wali dormitories nungi zirimu n'emifaliso actually emifaliso bitabo kalamu wamu ne peni byonna bisangawo y'okusomero bya bwerere baina ne school van eyokutambuza abaana.
Madina Education Center liri ha musinga gw'obusiramu bayitu tebakusorora dini n'abakristayo bakutangirwa school fees nizisoboka okwehandikisa ku kugenda omaiso aisomero eri kusangibwa Nyakibete mairo 3 okuruga Masindi town ha Masindi Kafo road bateirona special class yokukwata ku ruhano mutwe kumanya ebikusinga otera hasimu 0-8-5-8-32 rundi 0-3-2-9-4-0-M.
A very good evening once again, and you're welcome to the set of Elkem TV. Once again, welcome back from that short commercial break. My name is Calamity, and I've already ushered in with Agafiire week show every single Friday from the hours of 5 to the hours of 6. And later on, before we got into our break, I told you that when I get back onto the set, I will actually be giving an opportunity to my potential scrutinizers in the house also have a word for the viewers of Elkem TV. I'll salute you as well, then we'll proceed with the show. Meanwhile, my guests in the house, you're most welcome onto the set of Elkem TV. I'll start with my extreme right, and that is none other than Yosam Guchwaki from New Vision. You're most welcome onto the site, and I employ just to have your word for the viewers of Elkem TV before we proceed with the show.
Thank you so much, moderator, for welcoming me to this show. And I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
And I want to thank the management of Elkem TV, Elkem Media,
Yes,
for the innovation, because this is the way to go as the young people. I want to thank you for coming out with this innovation. And this is where government should invest money actually. Some people are innovative, who are coming out with new things. Yes, they earn a living.
yes.
I'm so glad to be here, and next time if could will come.
Okay.
So our viewers, you can continue viewing so that you can be able to watch what we are going to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is Yosam Guchwake from New Vision is actually onto the set with us, and we're still proceeding. Onto my extreme second right is Kangao Yeseri. And Kangao Yeseri, you're most welcome to the set of Elkem TV, and I employ just to have your salutation to the viewers of Elkem TV, and we proceed with the show as well.
Yeah, again, Kangao Yeseri is my name, and
Yes.
I'm so happy to be part of this show. And I look forward to really digesting some of these news items that have really made up our week. And as I look forward to the show also, let me take these few minutes to specifically appreciate the deaf community. These people, they don't hear, they don't talk, and yet every time this show is on, they are looking and they are watching. So perhaps someday we shall perhaps maybe put an idea to the management to include perhaps a sign language interpreter. But I greet all of you, the deaf community in Masindi.
Thank you very much for actually coming through. He's called Yakangao Yeseri, and he's the sign language interpreter in Masindi, the only one we have. Meanwhile, he's already on the set with us. And moving still, I have one called the ambassador. That is Anna Moses, is already in the house with us. And you're most welcome to the set. And I employ just have your word for the viewers of Elkem TV.
Thank you very much, actually, for hosting us in today's show. As he has already introduced me, I'm called Andama Moses, West Nile's ambassador. Is based here in Bunyoro. Can also call me as well as Sports Messiah. I want to welcome all of you who have been following me right from the other previous program up to now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my guests, for actually coming through and being live on Elkem TV. My name is Calamity. You can simply call me Urban Brown, the finest, the black unicorn, whatever. Thanks for joining the show. Today is a Friday, and as you know that whenever it comes to every single Friday, we always come up with the news roundup. We actually talk about the news items that have made rounds within the eve of the week. Meanwhile, there are actually a number of things that have happened into this very, very week. I think... as the panelists in the house, we're actually going to talk about one by one, actually trying to dig deep into these stories. And onto this very week, still moving on into the very news items that have actually made wave in our district, Masindi. I'll start from our local news. We see actually the businessman and a politician at the same time, an event promoter, that is Balam Barugahara, being given a position of the Minister for Gender, Labor and Social Development on Children and Youth Affairs, actually storming off Masindi with millions of people actually joining his congregation in the event to appreciate the President for actually having given him that opportunity. There are a number of things that actually took were there. We actually witnessed a lot of things onto this very, very, very event, and we're going to be dredging deep into this story. I implore you to keep tuned onto the Elkem TV show. And I mean, away from there, we actually also see this very week. Actually, it was last month onto the last day of the March 2024, the days of one called the Brigadier Stefan Kigundu, who was the Defense Air Force commander that actually passed on that very day of 31st. That was in the month of March. That is 2024. After actually he fell after electrocution in the bathroom. And when we talk about this, we actually mean that he actually slided and lost life in his bathroom from his home or his place of residency, and that is in Entebbe, Wakiso district. On that very, very, very day. It's so absurd. Actually, it was one day to the event that actually happened to Masindi for Balam. Unfortunately, he didn't actually reach that very day. On also from Masindi, actually, may his soul rest in eternal peace, Brigadier Stefan Kigundu, former Deputy Air Force Commander. And he was actually buried yesterday in the areas of BZ, that is in Masindi, and it is in the municipality as well. And away from there, we're still moving on. We see that this very, very week, we actually witnessed a man. Actually, we saw a man that is actually jumped into waters. That was Karuma waterfall. We can't actually explain what was the reason why he fell into the water, but a scenario happened. So meanwhile, a number of things are actually taking up our country. And away from there, we see that the killers, let me call them the killers, the wife and the two murderers that actually killed Dr. Abiriga Gino, being actually committed to High Court by Magistrate Grade 1, that is Biwaga Salsa. And we shall be actually looking forward we shall keep embedding onto the story, and we'll always be giving you the update onto that very, very, very event. And away from there, I also look at Kitara FC actually losing 1-0. That is, we see that this time round we are not able to neck and seeing what should should we do actually? What do we need to know about these stories that have actually made rounds into this very week? Let's get back into a short break and keep locked. Once again, welcome back from that short commercial break. I want to appreciate you that whoever is actually catching up at the show and all over watching from, thanks for actually loving Agafiire Week with me, Abban Brown on Elkem TV. And actually, before we got into our break, I'd actually taken you through the news items that I've actually waved that trended all over the country. You know, we're now getting to dredge deep into these stories that have actually happened this very week. Mr. My man from New Vision, you're most welcome to the set once again. This very week, we actually saw millions of people gathering at Boma grounds in Masindi over the event that was actually organized by the promoter and the businessman at the same time, an event promoter, Balam Barugahara, over the appreciating the president for having given him the position of the Minister for Gender, Labor and Social Development on behalf of the children and youth affairs. How did, actually, if you look at this very event economically, how did it affect our district as Masindi or the host of this very event?
Thank you so much, moderator. I myself was there and also covered this event, and the story was published in the New Vision on Wednesday. But what happened in the Boma grounds was expected, because someone who has direct access to a president has to always have a following. I think you have seen it for several times, and this was the first of its kind in Bunyoro.
Yes.
Most especially Masindi. We have had people have been appointed ministers like Kabakumba, Laboni, Masiko. We had Philip Obiaruhanga. We had Ernest Kiza. But they couldn't attract such a crowd. But this one managed. And I think given his background of managing events,
yes,
he has the skills mobilized to do everything to get crowd. Then also, you know very well that where there are free things, people have to come. Where there is eating, where there is dancing, where there is free arukaho, people have to come.
So you want to tell me like this was an influence of what was prepared?
There are also factors. There are many factors. There are many factors which contributed to this crowd.
Yes.
Being big like this. And also another issue is on his appointment.
Yes.
Was a surprise to many. Because really being an event promoter, being so much in youth. So few people expected his appointment, and also being in the PLOU, promoting the government in waiting, but being appointed in the current government, it was also surprising. We also talked about the economic issue. Of course, our economy here was boosted because we had very many people coming from across the country.
It is true.
At least I interacted with people from West Nile, Acholi, Western Uganda, that is Ankole side, Busoga, the central region. All those people came. And also our local people here came from different sub-counties. And I'm very sure some of them slept here. They bought alcohol, they slept in lodges, and it was contributing at least on revenue, the local revenue.
Okay, that is very good. Maybe before we proceed, Mr. Producer, I employ you first to have us those clips, and then we move on.
Okay.
Nabanja kubanje weberawayo mujja kungamba okatugamba bisatu nawakola ki nawagende then ndete fati ya nabali bagenzi bange abato so mwebale muno mwebale kwija tenti za chachi mizikiti nebichweke musana nenjura kubateera nkubasaba ekintu kimukarulukowa aka Museveni support ya Museveni kandi Museveni ekyakabiri gamba abantu baitu banyegera abasuma bakwiba sente za government mubanyegere babakwate so ebisigaire prime minister ajja kubibaza ebya programs za mzee sasa birege point ibiri zonka prime minister
nibigambo ebyo ninsaba wekitinisa honorable Nabanja Kiki
The first of this very month of April. That is actually what took place onto the grounds. It was so smashing. People were actually many, like you're seeing into the video. And away from there, as we're still moving on, I get now to my second panelist. That is Kangao Yeseri. You see, later on, before actually the reshuffle of the president or appointing Balam Barugahara has the... Do you think that it was due to this voting that actually brought in all this population, or it was actually people focused on what they were talking about before the tournament and whatever that actually called upon?
He's a very highly educated man.
Yes.
Actually, as we talk, he has a doctorate already. And one or two areas of his specialization is a businessman.
Yes.
But also, he's also very good at organizing concerts, events like that.
Yes.
And now there is something very specific that I've seen him being excelling compared to other people. Like, for example, he has targeted from His Excellency, or it came from Balam himself. But he's really strategic. He has brought all the youths, young men, instead of wasting all the time criticizing and using all their energies in things that are not development, has turned out to be a very lucrative business all over the world. People are earning crazy monies in business, especially in Europe. So him thinking of bringing games like riding bicycles, kicking football, it's just amazing. It really gives a wonderful platform for the youths to really use their energies really well.
Yes.
But also looking at it from the business side of it, he knows how to package his business. He knows what appeals to his audience. Football is for the youths. But also, as already Yosama has already touched it, when it comes to organizing events, the idea of putting in free food and free drinks.
And actually, if you saw that before being given the ministerial position, still he was an event promoter, and they have actually been actually organizing a couple of events, supporting the youth in football, the rest. Actually, a lot of things have been happening still in his hands. So I think it was actually, we expected this.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean what we saw that day. When you look at the crowds, it was just mixed. Women, children, men, youths, old ones, people of all races.
Yes.
It was very inclusive. I'm telling you, even the deaf people attended. They also attended, though they were not understanding what was going on.
Yes.
In fact, they called me to come and give them interpretation services. Yeah, but unfortunately I was too far, and I was engaged in a lot of stuff. So,
but at least the money to attend the event and saw what actually happened there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, still moving on. Now get to Andama Moses. We actually saw a number of people gathering at Boma grounds, and we saw people holding flyers for Balam Barugahara contesting or appearing on the ballot on the 2026 elections. What does this one leave the people that have actually been vowing to come out onto this very position after seeing the smashing actually population being organized by this very gentleman?
Yeah, thank you actually very much. Indeed, Balaam's victory was, I think, a pleasure to everyone who is a resident of Masindi, because it is part of its kind where we have seen such a big position. We had the Ernest who was given a ministerial position for the Bunyoro affairs, but at least this one here for children affairs and labor and whatever is much bigger than that for Bunyoro affairs. So everyone from the first time president actually appointed them was very happy, and everyone wished really to appreciate and shake his hand. So it was worth celebrating his victory of being appointed as state minister for children affairs. And I think people turned up in big numbers, and rumors have been going on before even his appointment in that position of as a state minister.
Come and contest.
Yes, rumors were circulating that the guy was coming, and indeed the climax was last week when he had organized for his party here, where even we saw Prime Minister coming out to speak it openly, though he did not declare it officially. But the Prime Minister's message was enough to people to know that he is coming. You ask me what does it mean to some of those political people here who had interest of coming that position.
Still moving on onto that very declaration. You see him actually succeeding in the 2026 elections.
Balaam, you know, politics is a very funny thing. I cannot say that he is going to succeed in 2026 elections because politics is funny. Politics, you might be having your money, but we have seen very many people who had money failing to go through. When people love you, they will vote you. If they see really you can deliver. But if they see that you don't have work, if they don't see quality in you with your money, they cannot vote you. Balaam has everything. He can influence, he can do what? He has his money, but it is people to decide. I know some of those opponents of his who are actually coming against him in 2026. They might have already expressed fear because of money. But I don't think that money is everything, because we saw just the 2021 election, Ernest had all what it requires. But
he ended up,
he did not go through. Joab is the MP now. So he was a money bag, he had everything. But people are the ones to decide. I don't think that those ones who are coming against him, yes, they might be fearing, but in final, you may find that it's somebody else.
Thank you very much, our dear one that is actually watching Elkem TV and whoever's just joined us. Thanks for actually catching up with the show. My name is Urban Brown. Onto the site of Agafiire Wiki, where we talk about the news stories. We actually dig deep and actually give you what is actually reality, what has actually happened to the ground. We analyze things in a way that you can simply understand them. Right here on Elkem TV, with me, Urban, and my analyzers in the house. You know, that is all what happened onto the first of this very month. That was at Boma Grounds by Balaam Barugahara. Currently, the minister that was appointed by His Excellency the President a few weeks ago. And that's how things went. I think you've also seen the videos. It was so smashing. You know, away from there, we see that this before actually getting to that very event that happened on the first of this very month. Earlier on on the 31st day of March, we actually saw the death of one of the most prominent army officials, that is Brigadier Stephen Kiganda. Yes, Kigundu. Sorry. I'm sorry for interruption, but it is Stephen Kigundu that actually passed on in a very fatal death, and this one actually have left a number of army officials on shock, trying to say that if they can't be protected as in their residencies. It's actually something so bad. So they prayed His Excellency for actually giving in more protection, to give in more protection to actually protect them. We saw him actually dying in his bathroom on what we call electrocution, whereby somebody slides and loses a life immediately. And we have not only seen him dying in such a funny way, but we have also gotten some other top army commanders in Uganda that also died in a very funny way. The example of former James Kazin that I think died in 2007, if not mistaken. He died in 2007 after being expected or suspected to have been killed by the girlfriend, and that was Draru, something of the name, if not mistaken. And away from there, we also saw the deaths of Arunda Nyakairima that actually died in the flight. So there are a number of actually high top military officials that have for their souls to rest in eternal peace. You know, right now, Mr. My friend from New Vision, that is Yosam Guchwaki, we have seen a number of people, or top, and being a deputy Air Force commander. Where does the death of the brigadier leave the strategy of Ugandan military currently?
First of all, as a region, we have lost a very gallant person. We condole with the family of Chigundu here in Masindi, because he was buried here in Nyanga division.
Yes, that is busy.
Yeah, this side. It is very absurd to lose such a person who is at that level. But again, we have seen really very many high-ranking officers dying mysteriously.
Mysteriously, true.
In a manner which is really, which is unclear. You find someone dying that has been hit by a bar, has been hit by an iron bar, has slipped. But the problem is we don't get conclusive reports, investigative reports to understand the circumstances under which they have died. Because you have seen many deaths of these high-ranking officers. As you have stated, there are many. But again, I've observed one thing in Bunyoro here. Most of our senior army officers don't go beyond the rank of Colonel.
Yes.
That's what I've observed. There are very few. This one had reached the rank of the brigadier.
Yes.
We have Matawi Kaligonza is at the rank of Major General. But most of our officers die at the rank of Colonel. I don't know why.
Yes.
We lost a Colonel here in Nyanga. It was called the Colonel Kabyanga. We also lost a Colonel in Bujenji in Somalia. So I don't know why most of our officers don't go far. Like those ones of West Nile Ambassador, you find they have generals and what.
Yes.
Yes. But our officers. Yes, most allies. But really, we need to always get conclusive reports.
Yes, but if you also talk about the people that come from the north, recently, I think a few years back, we saw the death of this commander for police
was called the Lion of Mogadishu.
Lokech. Remember Lokech?
Yes.
Was he not a general?
Yes, he was. He was the rank of a major general.
From the north, yeah.
But yes, he was called a Lion of Mogadishu. Yes, but other regions have generals, very many. Major General, Brigadier General, what? But here in Bunyoro, if you have to look at if you have to do a search, how many brigadier generals do we have here? How many major generals do we have here? Most of our officers die at the rank of Colonel. Why? We need also to investigate that. And also, we need to always get these reports. You find someone has died in a bathroom, iron bar. We need to always get these conclusive reports to ascertain. Because someone has dodged very many bullets, but you find dying in a mysterious way.
In such a surprising manner. Yes.
Anyway, God has a plan for everyone. You can't determine someone's death. You can't do what. But we condole with the family of Kigundu. And also pray that if there is a chance of uplifting other Banyoro, who are in that section, because he was a pilot,
Yes.
be given a chance, because really we have lost this one. But to me, I condole with the family, and really we sympathize with it, because really missing a senior person, because I'm sure he has left a very young family, and this is a man who started from Masindi, from Kabarwana, and those guys of Kasoba. They are proud. They were very proud of him.
Yes.
They are proud of him. They have lost a very, very, very important person in this region, and who may be irreplaceable. Because we also have here a pilot, but I think he's retired.
There is a retired pilot.
The former boss,
former boss of Kitara.
Yes, also boss to Andamaya.
Yes,
he knows better.
Okay, that's very, very good for the viewers of Elkem TV. We're still proceeding, and we actually currently trying to dredge onto the days of our own, that is Brigadier Stefan Kigundu, that passed on, that was on 31st of March 2024. You know, right now, moving back onto Kangao Yeseri, we have actually seen the days of our own, that is Brigadier Stefan Kigundu, passing on the first day of March 2024, yes. But besides the family and the friends, where does it leave the army, the people that have been so close to him?
Well, I'm looking at this event from two angles. Number one, the service he has been rendering in our country, and also number two, what we have lost as an investment. You know, to produce a skilled man like him, as a country, we invest a lot of funds. A lot of funds. For example, just look at the rank he had achieved. For him to get there, the man had flown. He had gone to many countries.
That is true.
He had been to China. He had been to Ukraine. He had been to Israel more than once. And his skill is so high. That man has a lot of skill with him. He at the university, he was a very good. He excelled at ICT, and he was very good at flying these MiG jets.
Yes.
In Ukraine, he got that. He was very good at also paratrooping. That is.
So you actually see, like you've brought that point. I see that losing these high-ranking officials, that is how it actually affects our economy.
Seriously.
In the country, because you find somebody, like a country has invested in a lot of money in this individual, but at the end of the day, we lose somebody in a very mysteriously way.
Those flights, it's a lot of money, because they have to go there on each school. We are talking in terms of years.
Yes, it's true.
Each country he goes to, he has to stay there. He has to master the skill. He has to practice, and when he comes back, the country really is relying on him. And then look at the experience he has been having in his service. The country, Uganda, has used him in many wars. For example, even he got involved in the LRA, Lord's Resistance Army. Yes.
That was early back in years.
Absolutely.
In Congo, yes.
Flying those jets and those aeroplanes, and he was just an expert at that. Museveni relied on him. His Excellency relied on him so much on that. And also he was so much deeply involved also in this ADF thing, the Allied Democratic Forces. So his experience, we have missed it. Why? Because first of all, he has died at a very early age.
It is true.
Just 46.
Very early.
What has he done yet? We were actually hoping to get a lot from him, because we, as more new ones, because as you're also aware, we have a lot of youngsters who have joined the army now. So we need people like him who have been there, and they have the experience, and they have the pedigree and everything. So we have lost economically, because again, to train another one of that type, we need to lose a lot of money and time, but also his experience. So
something so important. Okay, thank you very much for your submission, Kangao Yeseri. And still moving on to my colleague, that is Andama Moses, the ambassador. Okay. Anama Moses, we are actually seeing the death of a very young gentleman, that is Stefan Kigundu, that actually died at the age of 46. And there have actually been a number of complaints coming about. We've seen a number of people dying in a most surprising way. Earlier on, was it last year, we saw the shooting of, the works, transport and works minister, that is Wamala, being shot. He nearly died. So should we say it is a problem of the security that we have in our country for our high-ranking officials, or?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, first of all, what you have to know is this is an inevitable thing. When it comes to you,
it has come.
It has come to take you. You can't do it. And some of those army generals, yes, it is true. The way some die, put question mark to public outside there. How comes that a highly ranked person dies just in such a way?
He has security, he has everything now.
Protected,
yes.
He is driving, others even drive bulletproof vehicles, whatever.
But the animal, even if you have security, there's a way it cannot help you.
It is actually where
because
this is where actually,
one of the big dignitaries in this country was officiating on a football match.
Actually,
and he was kicking the ball, but the man.
Yes, this is where the question comes from. These people are prioritized; they are given security, they are given everything. But actually, it is of a shock for somebody to die in a very surprising manner like that.
The way he landed on the ground was mysterious.
You understand?
Like laughing, but of course, you know, with the arm, you cannot stop.
With your boss, yes.
Yeah. So, you can be protected, but sometimes there are certain things you cannot avoid.
That were planned by God.
It has to happen. So, those generals have gone through different kind of trainings, they have experience in whatever. But this, when it comes, you just need to admit it has come. Only that we know at that age of his, he was still young. And also, just talked about some of those other generals, people in higher ranks, in citing West Nile region and in northern Uganda. You know, for example, northern Uganda, those guys, there was a lot of insurgency during Konyi War. That thing has really given courage to most of those people to say that at least we should join the force so that we come and defend our place, that's northern Uganda.
Yes.
You know, now children grew up bearing on their mind that where they are, they have been disturbed a lot. And the only solution is there are some other professionals, but we have to join forces. So that one has been on their mind, and they have taken it like a topic now, that subject, they have to go for forces. West Nile region, those were Moses Ali, those were rebels. Those guys, for them, they started when they were fighting the government. So those other people, you find that they are like embracing some of those young ones, giving them courage to also be like them. So you are seeing them in a region where you find people really are concentrating on a certain thing. You find that region also focuses so much on what their leaders are exactly doing. So for the case of Bunyoro, this issue of forces has not been so much, and people have not been putting so much focus on that. But nowadays, even promotion is not based on war, how you fought or whatever. No, it is based on academics, your qualification. If you have, that is it.
The skills,
that is it. Those things of, where how many people you killed, they promote you, is no longer there. So what we have to pray is, yes, we know our country is among some of the peaceful countries in Africa, because we have forces, UPDF. Those guys are disciplined, and they are there to protect our country. So what we have to do is those generals, we are not supposed to lose them. They're supposed to be there to actually police the young ones, to direct them how things are supposed to do. But if we lose them like that, it is unfortunate. But we pray that there are those who shall replace them. And also we get more who will be on the higher ranks than like other regions.
But
Okay,
also,
thank you.
there is something
Yes.
we don't need to neglect, which is about how we construct our houses. You know, we are still young people who are still who still have future.
It is true.
We may construct. We are going to construct good houses, but when we are constructing, I think we have to be careful. Now we are constructing, because I've seen very many big dignitaries dying in the bathrooms. You find someone putting tiles in a bathroom,
It is
which
true.
are very slippery. Because he has money, he has what he wants to show off. He puts tiles, and you know tiles, when they mix, water is mixed with soap and lands on it, it becomes very slippery.
It is
But you
true.
find someone putting it there. But the problem is, we don't want to seek for information. Whether educated or uneducated, we are just there. These things are always published in our dailies, in the Monitor and the New Vision, and the other publications.
Yes.
How you can construct your bathroom, how can you construct your sitting room. You find someone putting real tiles, slipper in the bathroom. You know
And
what
it's
next?
true, we
You
have
will put that
actually-
tile, the next day it will kill you.
If you see in
Because
Masindi,
you have money.
if not mistaken, some years back, I remember we lost the chairperson for the lame people, whatever. The chairperson for the lame and whatever, the deafs, if not mistaken, some years back over the same issue. So it is
Yes,
something. So
we have to be
crucial.
careful how we are constructing our bathroom.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, our viewer of Elkem TV, my name is Kilamity, and I want to appreciate you for actually having joined the site currently, and wherever you're watching from. We're still pushing on and trying to navigate, dredge deep into the stories that have actually made rounds into this very, very week. Meanwhile, we're still proceeding, and I implore you just to get into YouTube, write your comments and about this show, and what is your contribution towards the topics that we're actually going through. Thank you very much, and keep locked. We're still proceeding with the show. Kanga, you had a word before we proceed?
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I don't know where exactly to put that blame. Should we blame ourselves? Are we the ones constructing our bathrooms poorly? Or where are the engineers?
Now,
Because by the time, because I doubt, for example, if I get money, it is me who is going to lay those tiles physically.
Yes.
I am going to use an engineer.
You know, sometimes when somebody has gotten money, decisions come from the owner, from the boss. Yes.
Really? And
Yes.
he keeps
the engineer
quiet?
may advise you, but basing it on the money that you have, you do what? You refrain from the actually advice given. Say me, I need this because you have your money.
Ah,
You
okay.
understand?
I've seen some very professional engineers. Once you insist on using him to do a wrong thing, then he doesn't do the work.
It is very true.
Because
but,
much later he knows he's going to be
blessing on our
responsible.
country and economy, things are not actually.
There are certain engineers who already have their money.
It is okay, viewers of Welcome TV. Just allow me to take into a short break, and when we do return, we'll be proceeding with the show as well. Keep locked.
Mukyala,
waitu
Madina Education Center olirabye?
Madina Education Center isomero muno mugenya karoraho kale likusikiriza muno owenkuonki onu nohagenda kutandikira kusoma
Ajati omwana akyayonka.
arayonka nasoma kandi nkugenda n'okuzala y'abandi basatu nabo basomera hano Madina Education Center.
Abaffe. Madina Education Center ng'otuuseeyo olabira ddala Madina eri eyo Middle East naye essomero liri wano Nyakibe Masindi Kafu Road.
Madina Education Center isomero ndigondeze lyabojo n'abayisikidde na boarding primary school baina nursery section hamu na daycare section batera ekisika abaana barahumuraga harume byokuzanisa nka toys enungi muno.
Ate primary section nayo ya mulembe nnyo. Abasomesa batendeke bulungi, classes ziri zennyini, metron wali, dormitories nnungi zirimu n'emifaliso. Actually emifaliso, bitabo, kalamu wamu ne peni byonna obisangayo ku ssomero bya bwereere. Balina ne school van ey'okutambuza abaana.
Madina Education Center liri ha musinga gw'obusiramu bayitu tubakusorora dini n'abakristayo bakutangirwa. School fees nizisoboka okwehandikisa ku kugenda omaiso aisomero eri kusangibwa Nyakibete mailo 3 okuruga Masindi town ha Masindi Kafo road bateirona special class yokukwata ku ruhano omutwe kumanya ebikusinga otera hasimu 0 58 rundi 0 392 9 0
Okay, very good evening once again, and welcome back from that short commercial break. Later on, before we got into our break, we've been still moving on with our stories, bridging deep and trying to understand what is the exactly thing that is happening in our country currently. Other people, much things, we actually get here to analyze what has actually happened to the week, the news items that have made rounds. We're still proceeding, and this very week we saw a man in ages of around 30 jumping into Karuma Falls water. That is, it was something so surprising in that this gentleman, it is said that he came with a cup and a bottle of stinge drink, and after taking the drink, he left the cup behind and the bottle. He moved towards the askaris that are near the guide on the Karuma bridge, and greeted them very well. But as he was moving northward of the bridge, he jumped into the water. Currently, I want us to first look at this very situation. We have seen a number of people this very week actually committing suicide. People are, it is so surprising. Should we say that it is a level of poverty or what? Actually, allow me start with my man from New Vision, that's Yosam Guchwaki. What is your perception towards this happening? Because we have seen a number of people killing themselves, committing suicide, a number of things happening, a number of issues coming about of death. Should we say it's a level of poverty or what is it?
Mr. Moderator, I want to tell you there are very many factors ranging from poverty, drug abuse, stress, and many others. Depression. So things are many. I want to tell you, if you go to our health facilities here
today, yes,
and see people who are taking drugs, these acaricides, acaricides, these things used for spraying.
Yes.
Yeah,
there are many.
I want to tell you, there are very many.
Yes.
Even yesterday we buried someone who took an acaricide because he was tired of the world and the stress, and so there are many factors. I want to tell you the rate at which I and also want to confirm from police. Was it sting really? Or it was another thing?
It could be poison, but they're saying a bottle of sting.
It could be maybe something mixed with these drugs of ours, which disturbs the brain. So things are many. So I want to urge the government, religious institutions, these humanitarian organizations to put much focus on counseling. I'm telling you, Ugandans need counseling.
It is actually, was it last week? I also saw a lady that took poison.
Yes.
2 days back.
Every day, in a week here, we're registering like 3.
So the population is accumulating at which people are taking poison.
Yes, very many problems, I'm telling you. Someone is studying from Makerere, from any other university, no job. He loiters on the street, he can't get anything, he cannot survive.
And when these people have put
in the end, he becomes frustrated. What next? Poison, drug abuse, what? I want to tell you, the rate at which people are suffering in this country is worrying. People are being evicted from their land. You find, if you go to Kikube, Bukinda, you find like 2,000 people are stranded on the RDC's office. From there, actually, there are people who camped at his office now 2 years. It is coming to 2 years. They camped there. I want to tell you, people have problems. I want to tell you, people are suffering in this country. We don't know why. But humanitarian organizations, our churches, government, should come out and do much counseling. Because having many problems doesn't mean it's the end of your life.
It is true.
Yes, you need to counsel someone. Tell him you're not the first. There are very many people who have gone through such a situation.
It is very true.
But you find our churches are focusing on other things. They are deceiving people. Ngenda basabira mufune motoka wandukuva wanu mugenda funa motoka within 1 year. But you're not doing anything. But you're promising someone, you are giving him hope that you're going to get a vehicle, you're going to drive in the next 2 weeks. Really? Counseling. He has no job. He has no services offering. I'm telling you, if you have service, you have no service you're offering. You're not doing anything. even if you go to church, you will
There's
not get
nothing
anything. Yes.
That is it, viewers of Elkem TV. We're still proceeding. Kanga Oyeseri, we have actually seen a scenario happening this very week, and it's not been the first time, because last year we also saw a man that came from nowhere with a bike packed it, still jumped into the waters of Karoma. Should we say the security at Karoma is not doing what it's supposed to do, or?
Well, there's, as we have already heard, there. First of all, it is a very sad event, and it's not laughable because we have lost a soul. The only problem is we have that death, that event has left us only with questions and just possibilities to imagine what it could have been. Now, me, I'm thinking. It could have been anything. For example, it could have been maybe family problems. Maybe the fact that he, on the scene, the only exhibit he left behind was a bottle of Sting. You know that bottle Sting is an energy drink.
Drink.
When a man drinks it, there is a way it makes you ready for sexual activities.
Yes.
How about if he had an appointment with a girlfriend and then he took several of them and the thing was and then the girl was not there, and then he felt, now what next? Now he can't convince anyone nearby, and then he thought, okay, maybe this should be the end of my life.
Yes.
And then he just ended up jumping into the falls. It's a very sad event, really. Or it could have been other family complications. You know, sometimes the family, the family is one of the biggest sources of love. It can go wrong, and it ends up being the source we have, the information we got from. Yeah, it's an age where you're transitioning from being from being young to manhood. Now you're trying to face the world on your own.
True. So
maybe he, as Guchwaki has already suggested, maybe he finished school and perhaps results came back when they are terrible, and then
The family was evicted from the land.
and then he's wondering what next.
It can either happen that way.
Yeah, or the other alternative could be maybe it had to do with the supernatural.
Seen people killing themselves, people committing suicide, people actually jumping in waters. And based on the other scrutinizers that have given us answers, what should actually people do? What should we put in place to ensure that this population that is dying day and night has reduced?
Yeah, thank you. There are certain ways on how people meet their deaths. So like this one.
Yes.
So the equality, he committed suicide or because when you have ever committed suicide there at Karuma, and Karuma is highly protected. So people have their issues and they go through different challenges in life. So you cannot really determine or know what exactly could be the cause for someone's death. Like him, his was just openly seen after taking a Sting, like an energy drink. But the reason why he took it, we don't know. Maybe he took it to get energy for doing other things,
Yes.
or he took it for pleasure, like just to pass time.
He ended up in.
But it ended up
in a swimming pool.
resulting to his death.
So sad indeed.
But it's unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
But I see cancelled. We need a lot of civic education. These CSOs and whatever CDOs, I think if they are to come in, really, people are suffering down there. People have their different issues, like they cited. But I think, really.
1 second, we proceed.
Yeah, but as we've already mentioned, there could be so many possibilities. Like, for example, the other ones I've just thought of, maybe he was suffering from height phobia. You know, when you step on that bridge and you look at that water, the speed it is passing, did you know if you are suffering from height phobia, the fear of heights, looking at the speed of the water and the height itself, you sometimes can just get dizzy and you somersault. But also it could have been probably a loan issue. It could have been perhaps maybe he was
people have gotten a couple
he was
of
a
issues.
criminal and
Yeah, in other words, it's actually so unfortunate for the ones that are viewing Elkem TV. I think this is the right time that we have to call upon government and other stakeholders to actually intervene, and we see that this mysterious dying of people killing themselves should actually run to zero. You know, as we proceed, still proceeding, just in a minute, you know, time is not our best ally. I want us to look at, yesterday we saw the murders of Dr. Abiriga Gino, our former DHO in Masindi, being actually committed to high court by Biwaga Sausa. You know, this case has been actually postponed for a couple of times. And don't you see that there is any kind of threat may come about in this very process of actually sentencing things, actually all the time giving out remands? Won't it disturb this very case?
By the way, what is being done is constitutional.
So
yes,
it's under procedure.
Yes, it is in order, but sometimes they're not necessary. Because if someone commits a crime of that nature, a capital offense, is supposed to be committed to High Court after 6 months.
Yes.
But these ones are 3, I think. 3 months now.
So it's still a process.
But again, those bureaucracies are not necessary really. Because if someone has accepted,
committed
he has
something,
confessed,
yes, confessed,
I committed this crime, and even has recorded an extrajudicial statement before the magistrate, confessing that I did it. Why do you waste people's time?
You know, me, I think maybe the reason why they keep on postponing, giving out is the reason could be maybe, you know, as these people face law or maybe get into those courts of law for the first time, so you could be having fear and you end up messing up.
But the problem stems from the Director of Public Prosecution's office.
That is the state. Because
he's the one who sanctions the file.
Yes.
After the sanctioning the file, then the process begins of hearing the case. For me, I know the problem could be between police and the DPP, Director of Public Prosecution, because they keep on saying we are still investigating.
But I think it's constitutional.
It is. But sometimes they dull so much. It takes much time, because if someone has confessed that I did it, what are you investigating again? Yes. What are you investigating? So, because we saw the other case, there is a man here who punched a magistrate here in Masindi.
Yes, we remember that.
The case was completed within 1 week. Yes, there are cases which are obvious, where you don't need to take much time.
Fred. Yeah,
no, the Freddy Kyogonza.
Kyogonza, yes.
He punched a magistrate here, chief
and
magistrate.
The captivity.
Yes, but the case was concluded within 1 week. So now what's wrong with this? If there is enough sufficient evidence, you can proceed with the case, because someone says I did it. The other one says I did it. The other one says I did it. Because when you delay, it creates suspicion among the community members. Why are these people delaying? Maybe they want something fast. Those issues begin to emerge. But really, for us as a community members, we request that in the case these cases happen, they should be handled expeditiously for justice to prevail, to avoid those suspicions, and also to satisfy the community.
It is true.
Yes, because if someone has said I did it,
then there is no reason why actually
that person
have to keep on postponing.
But I think after them being committed to High Court, now process is going to begin, because where they have been, that court has no jurisdiction.
Okay.
Now the court with jurisdiction
is the High
now
Court
going to take over. Let us expect maybe for some kind of speed.
I understand.
Yes. Okay. Maybe we shall see the case moving expeditiously, and we see justice prevail.
Okay, thank you very much for that submission. Moving to Kangao, yes, sir, just in a minute, I want you to have your perception towards this committing to High Court of these officials. I want you to actually, we have seen these people being committed to High Court, but it's been a process since Dr. Briga was killed in January this very year. It's a long span, quite a long span, before these people are sentenced to prison. So my question comes here. Don't you think that the family over the late Dr. Briga may have some complaints over this, saying maybe these people are corruptive, but this is the reason why they are not running up the case?
You see, one of the most complicated thing on earth is something called law. It is an idiot. Something you hear law.
Yes.
It is an idiot. And you will not understand what I've meant. Not one day, you yourself, you will face the judge.
Yeah, I understand.
Did you realize that so many people who are innocent,
Have-
they